This is a well-known Impressionist painting called The Cathedral in Rouen, The Portal, Harmony in Blue by Claude Monet, a well-known Impressionist. And from afar you can make out the image quite clearly. You can see the cathedral and make out what we can assume to be the blue portal in the center of the painting. But as you get closer and closer, the painting becomes more and more distorted, more and more unclear, until you get so close that it's almost impossible to tell what the original image actually is. Impressionism is a style that seeks to capture a feeling or experience rather than achieve accurate depiction. And as Patrick Brantlinger asserts in his essay Imperialism, Impressionism, and the Politics of Style, perhaps there's no greater literary work that explores this idea of Impressionism, this idea of getting more unclear the closer one gets to the object at hand, than Joseph Conrad in his Heart of Darkness. So Brantlinger approaches Conrad's Heart of Darkness through several literary critical lenses, and the first is a sociological lens, and that has to do with the culture, the economic, and the political context in which the work was written, and that can be seen through his analysis on the effects of European imperialism on Conrad's Heart of Darkness. And the second major lens that Brantlinger uses in his essay is a psychoanalytical critical lens, which is where he explores the subconscious desires of the author and looks at the work as primarily a reflection of the needs, emotions, or state of mind of the author. And that can be seen through his analysis on Conrad's intentions of writing Heart of Darkness as a contradiction between imperialism and anti-imperialism. Brantlinger builds upon this image that is in the text of the Heart of Darkness, which says that to Marlowe the meaning of an episode was not inside like a kernel, but outside, enveloping the tale, which brought it out only as a glow brings out a haze, in the likeness of one of these misty halos that sometimes are made visible by the spectral illumination of moonshine. The idea of the kernel really symbolizes an explicit central message or theme or argument, which is not present at all in the Heart of Darkness, as Brantlinger argues, and that really what you have is this messy glow around it, this idea of Impressionism, a style that captures a feeling or experience. It doesn't give this kernel, this accurate depiction of anything. So throughout his persuasive critical analysis, Brantlinger draws textual evidence from the Heart of Darkness and insights from other Heart of Darkness critics, and then he cites elements of the Heart of Darkness that create Conrad's complex Impressionism. And one of the things that Brantlinger talks about is the problem of rendering any judgment about Marlowe's narrative. And that's the idea that we never get an explicit imperialist, racist, or anti-imperialist judgment from Marlowe. The other thing Brantlinger talks about is that Conrad filters the story through narrators. We have an anonymous narrator that's telling the story that Marlowe is telling, and this adds to that cloudy impressionist effect of the story. And it also prompts the question, is Marlowe's viewpoint in the story an accurate representation of Joseph Conrad's viewpoint on imperialism and African people in real life? We don't know. And then Brantlinger also criticizes Conrad for using imperialist romance, lying idealism, and lying propaganda, which are all characteristic of European imperialism and Gothic romances, which usually involved heroes with imperialistic agendas. But Brantlinger cites these ideas of lying and idealism as ways that Conrad clouded the truth and meaning, again, creating this impressionistic effect. And then Brantlinger also brings up T.S. Eliot's idea of the hollow man, when he calls the heart of darkness hollow at the core, suggesting that there's no clear meaning or message or kernel at the center or the core of the heart of darkness, and that what is really at the center, this hollowness, is simply Marlowe's inability to justify any injustice and inability to stand up to injustice. And then, of course, Impressionism is evident simply in the complexity of Conrad's style, his heavy language, involved images, and complex sentences. And so Brantlinger concludes that Conrad has anticipated his critics of imperialism and critics of anti-imperialism, by writing a story in which the meaning does not lie at the center, not even the heart of darkness, but elsewhere in the misty halos, aka his impressionistic contradictions. And thus, it's impossible to criticize Conrad either way because he never explicitly takes a side. Is he imperialist and racist, or is he anti-imperialist? That's the greatest question.